Welcome back. We are on the topic transformation and rigid motion. In the previous video, we learned some basic things about reflection of a point in the xy plane or the Cartesian plane. We learned that in order to reflect a point in the xy plane, you will have to know the line of reflection. We said that we were going to consider these lines of reflection. The first one is the x-axis. The second one is the y-axis. The third one is the line x is equal to a. The fourth one is the line y is equal to a. The fifth one is the line y is equal to x. The sixth one is the line y is equal to minus x. And the seventh one is the line y is equal to ax. So in this video and the subsequent ones, we are going to learn how to reflect a point in the xy plane or the Cartesian plane by using these lines of reflection. For each one of them, we are going to learn the rule for the transformation, and then we will use that rule to solve some questions. We are going to begin with the first one, that is the x-axis. So we are going to learn how to reflect a point using the x-axis as the line of reflection. Reflection in the x-axis. In the videos on straight lines, we learned that the x-axis is also known as the line y is equal to 0. So reflection in the x-axis can also be called reflection in the line y is equal to 0. Now, how do we reflect a point in the Cartesian plane or the xy plane using the x-axis or the line y is equal to 0 as our line of reflection? Let's find out. If point A with coordinates xy is reflected in the x-axis or the line y is equal to 0, then A prime, which is the image of A, is given by A prime with the coordinates x minus y. In this topic, when I use A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, and so on, I'm referring to the images of A, B, C, D, and so on. So for example, when I use F prime, I'm referring to the image of F. When I use D prime, I'm referring to the image of D. I hope you get the picture. Okay, so let's go back to our point. It says that if we have a point xy, that is, if we have a point A with coordinates xy, and it's reflected in the x-axis or the line y is equal to 0, then A prime, which is the image of A, is given by A prime with coordinates x minus y. This means that if you reflect a point with the coordinates xy in the x-axis, then the image of that point will have the coordinates x minus y. So under a reflection in the x-axis or the line y is equal to 0, the rule is that xy maps to x minus y. This means that if you reflect a point in the x-axis or the line y is equal to 0, we will get the image by keeping the s coordinates. So you see we have the s coordinate of the point here is x, the s coordinate of the image here is x, but the y coordinate of the image will be negative of the y coordinate of the point. So to get the image, when you reflect a point in the x-axis, you keep the s coordinate, then you negate the y coordinate of the point. Let's use this rule to solve some questions. The question says that find the image of the following points when reflected in the x-axis. So we have 4 points here and we are going to take them one after the other. We are reflecting these points in the x-axis. So we are going to find the image of each one of these points when it is reflected in the x-axis or the line y is equal to 0. We have learned that if we reflect a point in the x-axis or the line y is equal to 0, the rule is xy maps to x minus y. So if you have point A with coordinates 2, 3, then the image of A, which will be A prime, will give us 2. which is the x coordinate, because you have seen that here you keep the x coordinate, then the y coordinate of the image will be negative of the y coordinate of the point. The y coordinate of the point is 3, so the y coordinate of the image will be -3. So if you reflect the point A with coordinates 2, 3 in the x-axis, or the line y is equal to 0, then the image of A, which will give us A prime, will be 2 minus 3. Let's look at the next question. We have the point B with coordinates -2, -1. The rule says that when we reflect this point in the x-axis, or the line y is equal to 0, we will keep the x coordinate, then we will negate the y coordinate. So the image of B, which will be B prime, will be, we will keep the x coordinate, which is -2. We will negate the y coordinate. The y coordinate here is -1. So you have -1, and that will give us +1. So B with coordinates -2, -1 will give us B prime with coordinates -2, 1. Let's look at the next question. We have point C with coordinates 4, -5. The rule here says that we will keep the x coordinate, we will negate the y coordinate. So C with coordinates 4, -5 will give us C prime, which is the image of C, with coordinates 4, 5, because you keep the x coordinate, which is 4, then you negate the y coordinate, which is -5. So -5 will give us 5. So C with coordinates 4, -5 will give us C prime with coordinates 4, 5. Let's look at the last question. We have D with coordinates -3, 1. The rule says that you keep the x coordinate, you negate the y coordinate. So D with coordinates -3, 1 will give us D prime, which is the image of D, with coordinates -3, -1, because you keep the x coordinate, which is -3, then we will negate the y coordinate. The y coordinate here is 1, so when we negate it, you have -1. So D with coordinates -3, 1 will give us D prime with coordinates -3, -1. So you can see that it is very simple. When we reflect a point in the x-axis, or the line y is equal to 0, this is the rule of the transformation. Xy will give us x minus y. So to find the image, you keep the x coordinate as it is, then you negate the y coordinate. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. We have learned how to reflect a point by using the x-axis, or the line y is equal to 0, as our line of reflection. In the next video, we are going to learn how to reflect a point in the y-axis. Bye-bye.